So welcome back to Soundbites, show about great people doing amazing things in the food and drink industry. And this one's a little bit different because it's food, drink, and tech. So welcome, Corey Yantha.
Thanks for having me.
So Corey, you're one of the owners and a founder of Dispension. So before we talk about these, just give me a little background on the company as a whole. Who started it, when, and what is the technology that you originally created?
Yeah, sure. So I founded this company in 2017, really with the idea to use secure automated kiosks to distribute age-restricted products in an unattended way. We've done a lot of work in health, and we applied those learnings and that technology into the retail sector. And now we've got this great, exciting technology called SmartServ for stadiums and large venues.
So what was the aha moment for SmartServ, and what hole were you kind of trying to fill the void of?
Yeah, the aha moment, I think everybody probably has it. You're standing in line at the concessions and you think, wow, this could be much better. So using our technology and understanding how unattended is really taking over, frictionless transactions, we applied some really interesting technology into these SmartServ kiosks to solve the problem of reducing congestion, increasing throughput, and really increasing fan experience and sales at these stadiums.
Have you calculated a timeline, an average timeline, or how much does it save in terms of time?
Yeah, when you're looking at congestion and lineups, it's really the amount of people in the line and how fast you can get those people through the checkouts. And if you have one person, that presents a bottleneck for that entire line. So what we've proposed is to have a bank of these kiosks where each kiosk can do a transaction in about 45 seconds. So if you have 4 people lined up using it at the same time, you're basically doing a transaction every 10 seconds. So you can increase the throughput and really get people through the concessions and back to their seats in time to catch the rest of the game.
So I know, which is amazing, and so the efficiency is, I think, from a business level, a hugely important factor, I'm sure, for the arenas and for that customer experience. But if we go back to the technological part, what you guys really bring to the market is this kind of age recognition technology, and like you said, you made it for the health industry first. Can you explain that technology and why it's important? I'm sure people, when they see, we've been conditioned as in living in Canada to think about age and access. Mm-hmm. Tell us about the technology itself and how that applies to this.
Sure. Yeah, so we've developed technology that can authenticate either patients or participants or specific user groups, and we've applied that technology here into the SmartServ. So when a person walks up to the kiosk, they present their ID. Their ID is scanned using infrared, ultraviolet, and visible light to make sure that that ID is authentic and the person is of legal age. Then a quick scan of the person's face compared to that ID is made to make sure that the person presenting the ID is actually the person standing in front of the kiosk. So we do a quick one-to-one comparison, really to do that double check to make sure that that person is of legal age and that they're presenting that ID. We think we're actually exceeding the standard for serving alcohol by doing that 100% verified ID check. So you can't actually present a fake ID to this technology, and you can't present somebody else's ID. So from a compliance and liability standpoint, we're checking that box and making sure that underage people can't access our kiosks.
This is an idea that has amazing potential, not just to be, everywhere. I'm sure, have you thought about all the permutations? Obviously, arenas would be a first thing, but are there other venues that you're looking at?
Yeah, the big opportunity for this technology is in the largest venues with the most events. So looking at Major League Baseball, they have 81 home games. They have a number of concerts and other events. So Major League Baseball is really our target market, which we've already had opportunities to do some pilots and activations in Major League Baseball. The next best venue style is an arena. NBA, NHL, you've got a lot of home games, you've got concerts. So venues with high frequency events is best for our business model. But this technology really fits in any venues, whether it's NFL, MLS, NHL, NBA, or MLB.
Okay, so some people will say is this machine going to take the job away from a server, and how do you counter that point?
Well, we're actually looking at capturing incremental revenue. So, especially during COVID, what we were noticing is that trips to the concessions actually increased when stadium capacity was lower. And when stadium capacity is higher, so a sold out stadium, people will be making less trips to the concessions because they're waiting in line. So by introducing new points of sale and the fact that this technology is modular, it takes up 16 square feet, you can really put them anywhere and plug them in, we're able to capture that incremental revenue rather than cannibalize existing revenue. So we're really increasing points of sale that can capture revenue from people that may have otherwise stayed in their seat or waited in line to a point where they decided enough is enough, I'm going back to sit down. So we really think this is a revenue generator for these stadiums, and we're not taking away from revenue they're currently generating.
Right, and presumably the employee that may have been a server is now managing machines, or there's more money to invest in labor in other places.
Exactly, and we're actually creating maybe higher skill jobs as well, rather than just someone taking money, taking a credit payment. We're actually creating jobs that have some technical requirements. We're creating jobs that maybe higher paying jobs as well.
Amazing. And probably the hardest but the most important question of the whole interview, will my beer be cold?
Yeah, the beers are going to be ice cold. Cold, uncomfortably cold is what we say. So about 3 degrees Celsius is what the beer comes out as. And this is much colder than most beers that you'll get at a venue because they're opening the fridge and closing the fridge and the hot air is getting inside. So we're distributing the coldest beer in the building is how we like to phrase it. Okay,
so you've got it to this point. You had it featured at the Major League Baseball All-Star Game in 2022, which is crazy in itself. But I assume as entrepreneurs and people in a technology sphere, you're constantly looking at evolution. So what are some of the evolutions that you come through with this technology, and what are some things, if you can tell me, that may be coming down the line?
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting opportunities within the marketing and branding standpoint. So having these completely wrapped in vinyl or even maybe in LED lights, so you can create more of a show around these kiosks. There's another technology that we've been developing around the safety and the access of these products. So in order for these kiosks to be fully unattended, somebody needs to monitor for intoxication. So that's really why we have the person monitoring these kiosks, not only to provide customer service, but to make sure that intoxicated people aren't accessing them. So we've developed a technology called Intoxivision that uses a thermal camera to detect a drunk person based on the temperature of their face. So we've developed algorithms and a system that can use a camera and scan somebody up to 30 feet away and detect whether that person is intoxicated and refuse them service if needed.
That's absolutely brilliant. So I think the only next thing to do is, I haven't had a beer yet, so I think we should see how this works in real life.
Perfect, let's do it. So the first thing you do is you insert your ID. So once you insert your ID, it's going to check whether you're legal age. It's going to check to see if that ID is valid. And then it's going to compare your face to that ID to make sure that you are presenting that document. The next step is for you to select a beer. We've got a pretty good deal on beers here today. The one I'm going to select is Budweiser. So now I'm going to pay. Here's an order summary page just to make sure you know what you're paying for before you press confirm. I'm going to confirm that order. Now it's going to prompt me to provide payment here at the right. So I provided payment there. Payment is accepted. And now my beer is going to be dispensed. So this is going to give you a status of that beer being dispensed into our can opening system. So that beer is going to go into the can opening system. We have a patented device that uses a laser to detect the tab and rotate the can into place. And then we have a robotic finger that's going to crack that can open before it's served. The reason why we crack that can open before it's served is because the leagues and the stadiums require that the can's open to prevent any injuries to players if these cans are thrown. There we go.